Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka GeekXX Chic, and we're back with another reaction to The Umbrella Academy. We're now on episode 3, which is called The Swedish Job. Last couple of episodes, we've done a lot of establishing where our group is, as well as figuring out what the stakes are for the season. We now know that they have to stop the end of the world yet again. But I honestly don't even mind that we're doing the same type of like end game that we had in season 1, because really what else do you have with superheroes? Like, when you have superpowered people, it's almost always boils down to them having to save the world somehow, or save somebody who's going to save the world. So with this episode being called The Swedish Job, the only thing I can think of is that we have 3 assassins that were sent apparently by this agency that number 5 has defected from, and it looks like their job is to obliterate all the members of the Umbrella Academy. At first I thought they would only come after number 5, but it's understandable that they would take them all out because obviously the whole Umbrella Academy is aware of the fact that the agency exists and that they interfere with things, which is probably rule number 1. Looks like we're gonna have a lot going down in this episode, to say the least. So without further ado, we're gonna get into this episode, but before we do that, if this is not your first time here and you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button, join the family. That way you can be notified of when I do more reactions to this series and others that you might be interested in. And yeah, just join the fam. We'd like to have you here. All right, let's get into the video. Let's go.
Let me have you
Since when are old ladies this open-minded? I mean, biceps, but... How? Are we about to see some tentacles that everyone... Oh! Okay, so you know what? This isn't all Klaus's fault, Ben. You engage him. This is why he keeps doing this behavior. These pants, though. Oh, Ben fell in love! Did Ben fall in love?
Oh, he isn't dead.
He says disappointedly. Oh, he's still tied up.
You didn't untie him?
Was I supposed to?
Right? You didn't leave specific instructions on the whole kidnapping thing. One has to wing it. Also, haven't you kind of stolen someone's car? You have no ID, no license, no memory of who you are, and you're driving someone else's car. This is not well thought out. No, not a cornfield. All the horror movies end this way. Oh. I feel like someone's about to lose their entire cornfield today. I hope that wasn't like their whole year life savings or anything. Good girl. You thought, sir. You thought. Vanya been fed up for a minute. For solitary men. Wow, the naming they used back in the day. Someone throw on the Rocky theme music.
I'm your brother.
I have a brother?
Look, you can either stay here and wait for the IKEA Mafia to come back to you.
That was great! How did he know she had no memory?
Holy shit.
Did you make a crop circle?
Pretty wild, right?
She made the first crop circle. Hilarious. They thought it was aliens. Nope, just Vanya. I like this. I like how they're tying in stuff from like that era in with like them actually being in the past. That's really smart.
Klaus?
Oh, cute. I love that she just jumped right in.
Right.
Is he locked up right now?
Yeah, how do you know that?
Yeah, we did time together.
The way he says it. He was in jail for 5 minutes.
Mine's a really big sit-in.
Those shoes are fire!
It's called a bullet wound. From what?
Oh God.
In my head.
Wow. This kid's special. Okay. little boy.
When's he getting out?
I'm working on that.
Quarter to never.
We need to postpone the city.
We can't postpone progress.
Why don't we vote on it?
We're not voting on it.
Why the hell not?
Exactly.
That's not how this works.
Says who?
Tell me how this works. In my own damn beauty parlor, what? You about to start coiffing hair too?
Thank you. Put it back in your pants. I want someone to smush your sandwich right now. Destroy it. Yeah, that's what you get. Is that you, Ben? Ancestors are coming for you!
We are all brothers beneath the skin.
No,
Allison's my sister.
literally. You're my brother-in-law.
What?
Yeah, man. Family barbecues are about to get real weird. Later.
I love that he does nothing to explain that. It's like, deal with that information. I gotta go. So close.
What causes the apocalypse?
How do I say you without hurting your feelings?
Asteroid impact.
Oh God. Oh, the trauma that brought. My parents used to freak if I ever scratched the records. Sadly, this is so real with dealing with kids who are, I'm assuming that Harlan's on the spectrum, and this is a very real side of what you have to deal with, especially before we learned more about how to deal with them. What is it with people in tidy whities in this episode?
I can't believe I got shanked by my own father.
Can't you though? I mean, he wasn't exactly endearing,
If it's any consolation, he probably didn't know that you were his son when he shanked you.
right? You didn't exist yet.
Honestly, longer. For a bit.
Diego and his hero complex swooping in again. Not surprised he's attracted to the broken females. This is the truest depiction of what it's like for tall people in a bathtub. Thank you for this. This is why your girl can't take baths very often, because these tubs be tiny. Oh, it looks like her husband coming home the same time. How awkward! I love it. Like, can I help you, sir? This is my house.
Allison Humphreys? You mean Allison Chestnut?
No.
Chestnut. All right.
Sorry, Luth.
Yeah, I guess we haven't been that close lately.
Oh, look at him stress eating. Bless him.
So,
Oh, these are just salt in the wound. Oh my God. Luther, leave. Luther, leave. Don't do this to yourself, boo. That's right. Adding some seasoning to all y'all plates. You're not ready. What you gonna do?
Yeah, that's what it says on the name tag.
All right, the dude from last season, but he would have been younger. You're gonna weird him out, sir.
Yeah, I'm remodeling the second bathroom and require some paint.
Ben's like, really? This is the best you got? Okay.
Dave told me about the day he enlisted. It was the same day that Kennedy was murdered. And if you would just please leave me alone for 5 goddamn minutes, then maybe I can convince him not to sign up for that stupid war, and maybe I can save his life.
And what kind of a ripple effect? Really? Really? Seriously, I don't get it. I don't understand how anyone can be so hateful for no reason. Oh yeah, Luther gonna F some people up today. He is mad. Watch, this go one of two ways. He's either gonna get his ass kicked or he's gonna absolutely kill someone.
Who are you looking for? Allison Humphreys?
Oh,
Allison Chestnut. Alive.
Oh. That's what I thought. Night night. This is a little visceral right now. Way too on the nose. Unfortunately, too true. use your powers. This is the time. Heads need to explode.
I heard a rumor that you walked away.
What the hell did you say to him? What the hell did you say to him?
I just wanted to.
I just told him that I was gonna kill him in his sleep, baby. It's nothing.
What if you're all okay?
He's like, it's not fun anymore.
Everything you've got!
Time to say goodbye. Oh, he's like, remember the days when life was simple because I lived on the moon and my biggest responsibility was taking out the garbage? Yeah, sweetie, we all relate. Okay, let's see. That was a very incredulous look. Let's see if she's something more than what we thought. Maybe she's an operative? Ooh, working with the agency. Yep, same pet store. Well played, ma'am. It's the way to go, though, because my boy loves broken things, so... I love how they're lining up how everything is happening with different characters in this story. This is so well done. I love it.
Of course. You deserve it. Thanks, Mum.
Daughter? How? Okay, now I have questions. Okay, and that's how we end. Okay. Okay, well guys, that was episode 3, which was called the Swedish Project. Was that? Interestingly enough, very little about the actual Swedes. Outside of like the fact that their part is, and that they're playing right now is actually driving our core crew of the Umbrella Academy together. Wow, this season is so good, guys. I'm really enjoying how they're writing this season. I love how they're dealing with each of these characters, how they're tying so much into season 1 as well. Because while a lot of shows do this, I feel like they sometimes struggle with how to keep that thread continuously going from season to season without making it like a complete either rehashing of what happened in the past or forgetting things and rewriting them or feeling like they had to retcon things. This show clearly has looked at an overall, like a long-term arc. And again, I have no idea how many seasons they plan to do of this show, and I know that there is source material, but it just, you can feel that this show is very well thought out, and I super appreciate that because there's just so many shows where they get so disappointing, particularly in the second season, because it's like they just forget all the things that made the show so amazing in the first place. And with this show, I think what really just went off in season 1 was the chemistry between the characters, like, who are the siblings, as well as they did such a good job of doing more of the telling of the story and the journeys of these characters more so than on the powers. Because in season 1, yes, we saw that they had powers, but when we saw them in action was actually very little. And that's definitely a Netflix symptom, right? Netflix doesn't pour a ton into effects when it comes to their shows because it's crazy expensive, to be perfectly honest. But also, I feel like when you rely too heavily on special effects and all the crazy power stuff, it's kind of a way, it's like a crutch that keeps you away from actually doing really good storytelling, because powers are great, but they won't hold people's attention for the long term. What holds people's attention is a good character story. There's still a lot of questions left. I think there's still a lot of areas they haven't explored a lot of, but thus far, I'm really liking the path that they're taking us on in seeing how and what motivates each of these people. Now, there's definitely been more of a focal point on some of the characters. I say at this point, Allison, Luther, and Klaus have gotten a lot of attention in their stories, whereas we're seeing a lot less of Vanya, and I've already talked about Ben. Y'all, okay, I'll get to Ben's rant in a minute, but yeah, some of them have definitely been a little bit more backburnered, which I understand. I mean, 10 episodes is not a lot in a season, and there's only so much time we can spend, but again, I like how they're still doing a good job with these stories and showing how they kind of fuel everything forward as far as how they work as a family, how they work as a unit, why they dispersed as this wonder group of superpowered kids. And again, how it's all going to kind of roll into how we save the world in the end. But in this particular episode, even though we saw every single one of the kids, we definitely focus a lot more on Allison and Luther, with a little bit of Klaus. Like, I love that we got to see what Klaus did for 3 years, because he was the first one to land. We found out, it looks like, because it was only a sliver of a second, that looks like Ben potentially started to get sweet on one of the Klaus's followers. And we didn't get to see much outside of that one scene where he was kind of looking at her like he was just completely enamored of her. And I'm sad. I really thought we delved more into that, but I kind of like how that filtered into why he went back to Dallas. And at first I thought he went back to Dallas because he just thought, well, that's where I started, and maybe subconsciously he was like, this is the last place where I had a life that made any sense. But we found out that actually, you know, tying into season 1 once again. Oh, and I have to say this because this came to me just when I was editing the last episode. I realized, oh my God, I completely forgot that. I was like, why did they land in Dallas? Like, why did they land in Dallas right before Kennedy? Like, what's the big significance of this particular time and date? Like, it makes no sense. And then it hit me that in season 1, number 5 was just about to stop the person who was going to stop Kennedy. And then he decided to teleport instead. And that's how we started season 1. Like, I completely forgot that he was in Dallas and he was supposed to thwart, which we now know was his father, potentially. So I love how they built that loop in, and I didn't even realize till I was editing. I was like, oh my God, this is why it's Dallas. This is why it's that time frame. Outside of that, other big storyline, of course, being Allison and Klaus reuniting, which I thought was great. And I love that she just didn't even get, like, I just love that it was just a pure reunion. No expectations, no lectures, just the two of them catching up. I kind of figured it would be that way because in season 1, they definitely made it seem like the two of them are quite close and they kind of have just gotten used to each other's dysfunction. But unfortunately, my suspicions were true in the sense of her not telling her husband about anything to do with her past, and understandably, right? She didn't know if anybody else was alive or if she'd ever see them again, so it was understandable that she wouldn't tell him that, yeah, I was adopted into a family with 5 other kids and they were white and Asian and Latino. Like, that would have been a very, very hard story to sell in the 50s and 60s. Yeah, unfortunately, Allison's secrets are coming back to haunt her. And interestingly, I was wondering if her husband was picking up on Luther's vibes around Allison, and clearly he was. I mean, Luther is not exactly good at subterfuge, let's be real. He wears his heart on his giant sleeve. And I think, you know, her husband clearly picked up that even though Luther said, oh yeah, she's my sister, you don't look at your sister the way he looked at that picture. You don't look like your entire world fell apart at hearing your sister got married. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no Lannister stuff. Like, my guy figured out that something was going down between the two of them. And obviously, I think he also figured out that they're not biological siblings either. So, yeah, Allison's kind of... I don't want to blame her, actually, because it's not her fault. As I said, she really had no idea she'd ever see her siblings again, and so I understand why she would feel no reason to tell her husband that she had a pseudo-relationship with her adoptive brother. Like, that just never goes over well. So, sadly, Allison, what she feared most, which was losing a family again, looks like it might happen again, especially now that her husband finally saw her powers in motion. The nice thing with her powers is that there's no flash and circumstance kind of thing that make it look really crazy. So he really just knows that something happened, but he has no idea what or how to explain it. He knows that she's been lying to him about her past. So unfortunately, there's just too many questions. And in obviously the way everything kind of culminated at the end of the episode with them doing the sit-in and the police and all the other things happening, it just was just the wrong time for all these things to come to a head for poor Allison. So I feel bad for her because she obviously loves her husband, but you saw her face when she heard the word Luther, right? I think her husband also noticed that. And as soon as she said Luther, you know, her whole demeanor changed. So she's in a weird place as well, you know, because we all know that her and Luther have had this long-standing love for each other that's never really been actualized. And I mean, I think it's safe to say she married her husband because she never thought she'd see Luther again. Also, her and Luther's timing always seemed to be slightly off. And it's not the first time, right? For poor Luther, and let's just jump into that. It actually segues right into Luther. Poor guy. I mean, he literally thought, again, like everyone else, that everyone had died. found out that Allison was actually still alive, still kicking, thinking, oh wow, like maybe we're gonna get this chance we've been looking for so long. And once again, for the second time, he finds out that Allison has married someone else. See, you know, the first time she got married was like one kick to a nut, and then the second time was like the other nut got kicked, right? So understandably, during that fight, he was just like, as I called in the episode, he's either going to absolutely decimate this guy because he'll be so angry and hurt, or he's just going to give up, which I was pretty sure it would be the give up part because Luther really isn't an angry person. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode, guys. I think I chatted a lot about it this episode, but I really liked it. I hope you guys liked watching along with me, and if you did, please hit that like button. And once again, if you've been here before and you like what you see, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, join the family. We'd love to have you here. That's pretty much it. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, guys. See ya!